I decided to ghost my ex-fiancé on our wedding and left a cutout of his ex at the altar instead. I know that some people here would immediately jump in and call me dramatic and rude, but please hear me out completely before calling me names. My ex, Brendan, 26 male, and I have been together for over 3 years and got engaged 6 months ago. I know that the wedding was a little rushed, but it was because my ex didn't want to wait for a whole year before marrying me. I used to think that he was desperate to marry me, which was why he didn't want to wait. I was such a fool because I never realized that none of this was for me. I'm sorry, but I will be ranting a lot here. My family and friends know the gist of what happened and have been aware of why I ditched my ex. But I can't bring myself to discuss all my emotions and feelings with them. Not everyone in my life knows the full details of what I am going through. I was extremely in love with my ex. I was really looking forward to the wedding. For almost 6 months, I gave my 100% to make sure that the wedding was perfect. Brendan was busy with work and told me that he didn't care about wedding stuff, so I could just do what I liked. I tried getting his input, but he always said that he had no idea about these things, so I should leave him out of it. Ever since we got engaged, I had this nagging feeling that my fiancé was getting distant from me. At first, I thought that it was because of his work pressure, but then I started to feel like there was some communication gap between us. We rarely went on dates and didn't even spend a lot of quality time at home. Anytime I tried to arrange something special or ask for a date, there would be excuses about why it wasn't possible that day. There was a time when I became a little frustrated and straight up told Brendan that I felt like we were growing distant. He gaslit me hard and kept telling me that his work and my wedding planning had been taking up our time, so things would be better once the wedding is done with and he puts in fewer hours at work. For the record, I work as well, but I work from home and have more time on my hands. I also had a good amount of savings that I was contributing towards the wedding. Meanwhile, he didn't have much savings of his own and had to put in extra hours at work to pay his share. Before anyone calls me a bridezilla, let me tell you that we were supposed to have a small and intimate wedding with minimal decorations and zero luxury stuff. Brendan has been bad with money and made a bunch of bad decisions in the past, so he was next to nothing in his savings. I didn't want a courthouse wedding, but I was willing to have a long engagement so that Brendan could save up for the wedding. But he wasn't having it. He told me that he would work overtime and bring in money. We had several discussions about it, so I didn't spring anything on him. A small church house wedding with a small reception on the church lawn was all we would have. Plain and simple. I never thought that I would end up ditching Brendan and ghosting him on our special day. Then again, it was never our special day in his mind because he was imagining the bride to be someone else. I wish I were joking, but I am not. 1 week before the wedding, I had randomly gotten a Facebook message from Brendan's ex-girlfriend, Kelly, 26 female. I knew she was his ex only by her name, never met her or anything because they never stayed in touch, or that's what I had been told. So Kelly texts me and tells me that there's something I need to know about Brendan. She told me that he had been texting her inappropriately and disrespecting our relationship. I'm ashamed to say that I wouldn't have believed her if she hadn't sent me proof. She said she knew I would want to see proof, so she attached screenshots from her Instagram messages with Brandon. Those messages went way back. Kelly hadn't bothered to reply more than once. It was mostly Brendan sending her random texts on random days, telling her he missed her and still had feelings for her. These messages started when Kelly got engaged. After a while, Kelly got fed up and told him that she was blocking him and that he should focus on his own relationship instead of harassing her. Brendan didn't stop, though. What absolutely broke me was when I saw what he said about our wedding. Brendan told Kelly that he would be imagining her instead of me on our wedding day. He told her that he still remembers every detail of the wedding he had planned with her and never told me anything about it because they were only reserved for Kelly. So, the reason Brendan didn't give any input was simply because he wanted his wedding dreams to be fulfilled and marry him instead. I can't go into the details of those messages because it is just plain humiliating for me to even remember. I was such a fool, guys. Even after seeing those texts somewhere in my heart, I was hopeful that maybe the screenshots and texts were fake. I admit that I snooped through Brendan's phone. He hadn't even bothered to delete those messages. It was as clear as day that Kelly hadn't faked anything. I left the house that day and stayed with my maid of honor, or my best friend, Myra, 25, female. I left Brendan a message telling him that my best friend wasn't feeling well, and she called me over to stay the night because she didn't want to be alone. Brendan believed that lie. I spent the next 3 days there with the same excuses. He didn't even bother checking in on me or asking when I would be back. That's just how checked out he was. Maybe he was never in love with me at all. I am becoming more and more sure about that. It's like the man I fell in love with and decided to get married to doesn't even exist anymore. I spent 3 days crying my eyes out at my best friend's house before finally making a decision. One thing was clear to me. The wedding was not happening, or rather, I wasn't going to marry him. I simply couldn't marry someone who was going to imagine his ex instead of me. Canceling the wedding would have been the right call, but I was petty and hurt. I wanted to hurt him back, so instead of just confronting Brendan and canceling everything, I decided to wait things out and leave him at the altar. I had spent 6 months arranging everything, and I didn't want it all to go to waste. Canceling stuff wouldn't have been helpful because it was too late to get refunds, so I decided to hurt him back using the wedding I had planned. I went back home and pretended to be normal. Meanwhile, I was telling my family and friends what Brendan had done. I had also sworn them to secrecy. Not everyone agreed with what I had planned to do, but they didn't spill the beans to Brendan or his family. I also started to slowly pack my important stuff and sent it over to Myra's place without Brendan noticing. The day before the wedding, I went to stay with her as we had decided. I had my other bridesmaids go to the church bright and early the next morning to leave a cutout of Kelly at the altar. They're the ones who arranged the cutouts and talked to the venue about letting it stay at the altar. I'm not sure how they were able to pull it off. I wasn't in the right mental state to think about these things. I told them what I wanted and they got it done. On the day of the wedding, Myra was the only one who went to the venue. By the time she arrived, everyone had discovered the cutout, and Brendan had been calling me non-stop. He went running to Myra to ask her what was going on. Myra ignored him and just told everyone that the wedding was off, and if they wanted to know why, they should just ask Brendan about it. She left after that, and no matter how much Brendan hounded her, she wouldn't tell him what happened. Me and my bridesmaid, I had already driven down to the beach in the next town so that no one could find me. Myra joined me later. All of us spent 2 days at this beach city trying to get ourselves into a better mood. It did work, but eventually reality caught up to me when I came back home. I didn't go to Brendan's place, of course. My name wasn't on the lease anyway. I was paying half the rent, but the lease was never updated because Brendan was there first, so I didn't have to inform the landlord or anything. I stayed at Myra's place and she shooed Brendan away when he tried to come and see me. He has been sending me messages and voicemails begging me to talk to him. He claims that he had no idea why I ditched him and that there must be some misunderstanding between us. He keeps telling me to talk things out instead of ghosting him like that. His family and friends have also left texts and voicemails. I'm being called cruel, rude, jealous, and petty, among other things. Some people are saying that I need to get over whatever happened between Brendan and Kelly, and that I overreacted and ruined Brendan's day. Some of my family, including my mom, also think that I went too far down the petty route and should have had an adult discussion about things instead. Now I'm sitting here confused and still heartbroken over what happened. I was planning on burning my wedding dress, but I have decided to pause and think if I'm really being too petty. I am not sure what Brendan wants to talk about and how he thinks it will help, but should I hear him out? Also, should I apologize for humiliating him? I actually don't want to, but if it's the right thing to do, I will do it. Edit. You guys want to know why everyone is mad at me. Well, it's mostly because of the fact that I didn't really tell everyone why I had left Brendan at the altar. Only people on my guest list know, and some of them think that what I did was very childish and petty. Brendan's side, of course, has no idea. I guess I thought that Brendan would come clean after seeing his ex's cutout at the altar. To be very honest, I haven't told everyone because I'm too embarrassed about this entire situation. Not the cutout part or ditching my ex at the altar part. I'm embarrassed about the fact that my ex didn't even love me. How would you feel telling people that your ex was going to imagine someone else when he married you? It was hard enough to tell my own family what happened. If you just put yourself in my shoes, you will understand that it's both humiliating and embarrassing. I had been made a fool of for 3 whole years. I used to tell everyone that my man was perfect and was such a green flag. Now I have to go around telling everyone that he's nothing but a lying piece of crap. People would lose respect for me. I knew I would make a scene at the wedding, but I couldn't bring myself to care about that. I just wanted my ex to feel the same humiliation I felt when I read those messages. Also, there has been a misconception about Kelly and Brendan having an affair. There was no affair. Brendan had suddenly begun texting Kelly after our engagement. I had no idea what Kelly was up to since Brendan never talked about her. Turns out Brendan proposed to me only a few days after Kelly got engaged. Kelly's wedding was just 1 day after mine. Whatever Brendan did was for Kelly. He kept texting her and telling her that he was doing everything possible to imagine getting married to her. Kelly had tried to tell him off after the first time he texted, but he was persistent. She blocked him, but he used another account to message her that fateful day. Kelly then decided that enough was enough. He somehow stalked Brendan using her husband's profile and found me on his Facebook. The rest is history. Please don't make hateful comments about Kelly. I can't blame her for anything. She didn't lead Brendan on or have an affair with him. In those messages, she clearly told him that they were over and he shouldn't be saying these things while being in a serious relationship with someone else. Brendan is the one who kept harassing her. I have tons of proof against him. I don't know if Brendan had messaged her after the wedding. Kelly is on her honeymoon right now, so I don't want to disturb her by asking these things. Update 1. Hi again, everyone. Thank you so much for all your input. Not everyone here has been sympathetic or understanding, but I appreciate all the feedback and advice anyway. One thing has been clear to me, that I shouldn't apologize to Brendan for what I did. Yes, what I did was petty, but he had it coming for trying to cheat on me. Maybe what he did cannot be called cheating per se, but he has been disloyal to me, which is a big thing. All this time he led me to believe that he loved me and had planned to spend the rest of his life with me. But he was probably just deluding himself by using me to imagine Kelly as his partner. He fooled me and kept up an illusion for himself. He cannot convince me any more that he ever loved me. Even you guys feel the same way about how things are. One commenter asked how I could spend 3 years without knowing that something was up. What can I say? I really had no way of knowing. He hadn't actually messaged Kelly until she posted pictures of her engagement. He may have kept track of her through old friends and such. I didn't mention in the original post that Kelly and Brendan used to be high school sweethearts. They broke up in college and went their separate ways. Brendan told me that they had grown into different people and things simply didn't work out anymore. Kelly told me that she was the one who left him because he was pushing for an open relationship and didn't want to get married until they were 40. Brendan also had a habit of making bad decisions with money and had taken over $12,000 from Kelly in 6 months when she joined her first job. He had also become very controlling and was telling Kelly about how she should find another job because hers had too many male employees. Imagine the hypocrisy, guys. The man who wanted an open relationship also didn't want his girlfriend to work with male colleagues. Kelly said that Brendan had apparently taken the breakup well and even told her that she would come crawling back when no one else would take her. Actually, the opposite of that happened. He went crawling back after a year because no one would date his broke butt. He began love-bombing her and making grand declarations of his feelings, never going away. Kelly got fed up after the repeated harassment, changed her phone number, took a transfer to a different location. Brandon and I met and started to date around 4 months after this. Kelly shared all of this information with me on the day she sent me the proof. We had a rather long conversation about everything. She's a good person, and I will forever be indebted to her for exposing Brendan. I know that a lot of people would say that it was none of her business at all, but I would request you guys to speak up when something like this happens. You may just save someone's life and open their eyes to reality. Thank God I got to know about Brendan's ways before we got married. Speaking of which, I haven't talked to Brendan or anyone yet, but I have been thinking about setting the record straight. I thought about just adding everyone to a group and sending all the proof, but I decided against it. It's too much work, to be honest. Instead, I have talked to Brendan's cousin, who I'm close with, and asked her to meet up with me. I need to know what version of events Brendan told his family and friends and correct it if he has been spreading lies. As for my own family, I have decided to go low contact with everyone who's been speaking against me. Even my own mother is getting cut off temporarily. Some of you have been wondering why my own family has been annoyed with me. Well, in their logic, Brendan hasn't actually cheated on me, and if I just try harder, he will end up loving me more than Kelly. Everything is fixable in their eyes. Not all of them think that way, but people who are annoyed at me do. My mother has also taken this stance. We never really had a particularly good relationship, so it's hardly surprising. It looks like I may have to end whatever little connection I had with her because clearly I am not good enough for her in any way. Some of your comments really help me see that it's time for me to identify exactly who my real friends and family are. Thank you so much for all your help, guys. Your appreciation for my weird humor about the cutout also made me feel less bad about myself, so thank you for that as well. I will make an update once I speak to the cousin in case you want to know what happened. Update 2. Hello again, guys. I got some comments asking for an update, so here I am again. This won't be very long, and I will try to be very precise. You guys had been spot on when you told me that Brandon may have been spreading lies about why Kelly's cutout was at the wedding, and why I had ditched him. I met up with his cousin Gina, 23, female, who told me the exact lies that Brendan told everyone when he was questioned. Apparently, Brendan had told his family and friends that I had always been jealous of Kelly because of how long their relationship was compared to mine. He made up stories about how I was obsessed with his ex, and somehow my insecurities made me suspicious about him and her. He had been telling everyone that Kelly had kept in touch with her, and he was forced to stop because I had given him an ultimatum. He made up some more crap lies about how he was the victim and I was the selfish, cruel girl who can't control her insecurities. I admit that whatever heartbreak I had over him had evolved into just pure rage when I heard what he said about me. He had no remorse, throwing me under the bus to make himself look like the victim. He has been spreading lies and getting attention while I am being cursed and name-called. I can't believe he still has the audacity to beg me to talk to him after doing all this. This man is beyond shameless. Gina had been absolutely shocked when I told her the whole truth about what happened and even showed her the pictures. She was angry on my behalf, and also because she didn't appreciate how Brendan lied to her and everyone else. She vowed to spread the word and the screenshots so that I won't have to do it myself. She also apologized for Brendan and her family's behavior, and I accepted it. We're good. She's truly a good friend, even though she is younger than me. We are going to stay in touch no matter what happens. Kelly also got in touch with me because she was worried about me and wanted to make sure I was doing well. I don't know why my ex made the stupid decision to lose her in the first place. She seems like a great woman, and I am glad she's happy. I also can't believe that she would be concerned about a literal stranger, especially when my own family hasn't been all that supportive. I already told you guys that I will be going low contact with people in my own family who refuse to see my perspective and have been minimizing what happened to me. I have already sent them all a strongly worded message telling them that I won't be staying in touch for a while. 2 people have apologized, but the rest have doubled down. My mom is trying to throw a fit about it. I don't know why. It's not like she will miss me. Like I said before, we are not close. Anyway, that's the update, guys. Update 3. Hello, everyone. I had to come back here and make a final update because I have some really juicy gossip for you guys. A lot of you guys had been upset that my ex got off so easily. Well, I thought that the humiliation on his wedding day may have been good enough as his punishment, but boy, God had other plans. I'm going to tell you all about it. So I remember how he spread lies about me and told everyone how I was insecure and jealous of Kelly, which was why I did what I did. Gina did her work and helped spread the truth around. If you guys are confused or forgot who Gina is, she is his cousin, who I am close to. When I met up with her and told her the truth about Brendan's cheating, she took things into her own hands. She literally called everyone up and told them the truth. The screenshots were circulated in the personal and group chats. She literally made sure every member of the family knew what she did. She also reached out to his friends and told them the truth. Unfortunately, some of them already knew why I had left, and they were the ones who didn't send me rude messages. Apparently, the friend group was already fighting because some people backed Brendan, while others saw this as encouraging him to cheat. Brendan ended up losing some good friends because of his actions, but the worst blow came from his own family. I had no idea about the fact that cheating was a sore topic for his family. Maybe that's why Brendan lied, because he knew he would be instantly disowned if he were found attempting to cheat. I won't get into too many details, but it has to do with an aunt who ended herself over her cheating husband's actions. It's truly tragic and heartbreaking. No wonder Brandon rarely talked about her. Maybe it was the guilt, or maybe he simply didn't care about me enough to share. I don't know, guys. He had been texting me nonstop for a while. He was begging for a chance to talk, saying I was overreacting and he didn't actually cheat. Then he flipped and started to accuse me of ruining his life. Imagine the audacity, guys. He should have thought things through. He definitely didn't do any kind of thinking, though. Apparently, he didn't learn his lesson. Me cancelling the wedding just made him more determined to try and win Kelly back. He kept track of when she was back from her honeymoon. He still has some mutual friends with Kelly. So he knew exactly when Kelly was coming back. He had the audacity to go to her house and literally beg her to run away with him. Kelly was there with her husband, and both of them were horrified. Things escalated when Brandon refused to leave and got into a fight with Kelly's husband. So Brandon has already spent a few days behind bars. No one was willing to bail him out. Kelly began identifying and cutting off the mutuals who kept telling Brandon details about her. Ultimately, everyone decided to stay away from the drama after cops got involved. So my broke ex couldn't post bail money for her, while his family has also turned their backs on him after seeing his actions and his unhinged behavior. They have told him they don't want anything to do with him until he gets proper help and tries to be a better person. Also, they reached out to me and apologized for their earlier remarks. Brandon's grandma even sent a check with Gina when we went out for lunch. She also wrote me a letter that basically said she wanted me to keep the money as compensation for what I lost at the wedding. They were all pretty sad about losing me because they truly did see me as a family. I think I'm going to stay in touch with them for a while. Call me what you may, but I kept the money. I thought about returning it, but Grandma mentioned that the money was coming out of Brendan's inheritance, so I just kept it with me. After all, this wedding wouldn't have happened if he hadn't kept insisting we marry early. Jesus, what a fool I was. I learned a good lesson for life. I'm also very thankful I got to know about my ex's downright psychotic side before actually marrying him. I have no idea how he hid that side of himself so well. Or maybe I am so used to dealing with narcissistic people in my life that I may have normalized his questionable behavior. I guess I really do need to put myself into therapy and try to figure out if I was missing red flags or don't know how to identify them. I will be getting an appointment as soon as possible so that I don't have to go through this again. Some of you were really worried about me because having such a big thing happen can take an emotional toll on someone. Well, you're right to worry because it did take a toll on me. I actually feel completely drained. But I'm also thanking every deity out there for saving me at the right time. I have recognized I need help, which is why I have decided to start therapy. I think it's going to help me overcome this completely. I also need some help with my home situation, especially with my mom, because I'm starting to see that I have gotten used to red flag behavior and often dismiss things because I'm used to being treated like crap by my own mother. Thankfully, I have a good support system with my friends, so I think I'll be okay. Thank you so much for helping me with your valuable advice. I will probably delete all of this because I want to start afresh, but if something else happens, you know I will come back here and tell you. Stay tuned for more stories from Our Girl Relationships.